I'd like to thank my colleague for her best wishes. Mr. Speaker, frankly, right now there is no trust factor. I've been receiving emails from literally hundreds of my constituents with respect to the current economic crisis, particularly seniors, and I'm alarmed at the number of seniors that do believe that during this period they will lose their homes. These are hardworking people that provided the foundation for our economy over the past few years and are seeing it frittered away. They do believe, Mr. Speaker, that this was a made-in-Canada recession, and we're concerned about the fact that there was no contingency fund. As we all know, and as most bankers and economists would point out to average families, you should always have a rainy day fund. And quite frankly, I think we're seeing monsoon season.
Questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Abbotsford.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I too want to welcome the member to this August chamber. I think she'll find this chamber to be a very rewarding experience for her. But I did want to focus in on the heart of the comments she'd made. I think that it all hinged upon her allegation that, in fact, our government somehow squandered the surpluses that we had. In fact, Mr. Chair, I think one could compare government to a family and a family's finances. A family may have a line of credit at the bank. It may also have some other obligations it has to deal with. Suddenly it finds itself with some extra money. Yes, it can set that money aside in a rainy day fund, but of course the interest that will be paid on that rainy day fund will be less than what the family is paying on its line of credit. So the sensible thing to do, the thing that I do in my family, and that thousands of families across Canada do, when they have some extra money, say a bonus from their employer, they'll actually apply that to their line of credit because the interest rate is higher. And unfortunately, the member did not even mention the fact that our government actually paid off $40 billion worth of public debt. Right. Basically, we paid off money against the mortgage that would have saddled future generations. Very responsible. I would just ask her to comment on how she can allege that money was squandered when, in fact, $40 billion was paid off against our national mortgage.
The Honourable Member for Scarborough Southwest.
I'd like to thank the Honourable Member for the question. And the simple answer to that is, as a former banker, I do agree with debt reduction. I don't believe Canada's debt before the surplus was used to pay it down was unmanageable. I would certainly comment that my constituents have likened it to a couple that gets married and they buy a house and they mortgage it and they sacrifice everything. They have no life. They have nothing of consequence. They want to get that mortgage paid off. And in the meantime, they have no quality of life. They don't maintain that house. The roof gets leaky, the foundation falls apart, and at the end of the day, the mortgage is paid off, but the house has to be raised. And then they have to go back into debt to rebuild it at today's prices. So I think that is the easy answer to that question, that debt reduction isn't the only thing that's absolutely critical in this country, and I think we're living it now.
Resuming debate.